Hi everyone.
You live?
It's supposed to be live. We're just checking out to see whether it's on Facebook. All right. So yes, it's another episode. Okay, now it's live. So hi, welcome to Small Fish Business Coach Marketing Makeover. This is episode. All right, we have good audio right now, so it's episode 8. All right. So last week, very quickly, for those of you watching right now, please share it out. Even if it's a replay, please share it out. Very much appreciated. Last week we talked about core values and company culture. Quick recap: know the purpose of your company, and no, it is not about making a profit. That is why you start business, but basically more about knowing what you can do for your clients, what problems you solve for them. Have a set of shared common values that drives the team towards the same direction or common goal. And then if everyone share the same common values, it becomes a habit when you practice it. And when you practice those good habits, it becomes a good company culture. So, episode 8, as always, quick introduction. My name is Nick. I'm an MC by profession. And
Tom.
Yes,
How are you, everybody?
This is your Small Fish Business Coach.
Hi.
And immediately after last week's the previous episode, we talked about what we want to share
This
with
week.
all of you this week. Yes.
Yes.
So basically, it's about employment. So those of you, if you're planning to seek new employment, or if you're a fresh graduate, you're thinking this may not be a good time or an easy time for you to
Get hired.
get hired, no worries. I think this episode will help you a lot. Okay, so Coach actually shared a very good statistic with me yesterday or last night. Good statistic, but sad at the same time. Okay, Malaysian unemployment rate has escalated to 5.3% in May.
Yup.
Okay, and this is now a major concern in the workforce, especially for those who got retrenched, looking for a new job, or those who just graduated. Okay, so even though RMCO things are now more easier for people to move around, yet the job market, Coach is right, it remains uncertain. Okay, so we're gonna share with you practical interview tips in your resume that you can use almost immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea is why we want to do this kind of topic is one of it is we really want to give you some insight if you are attending an interview, and what are some of the do's and don'ts.
Yes.
That you might want to do, and what are and even though you are attending an interview as an employee, but you also need to understand what do the employer want.
Exactly.
Right. So just for your information, of course, not many people know this. Back in 2004, I used to work 1 year as a recruitment consultant.
Yes, that was interesting when you told me also last episode. Yeah.
So I do have 1 year plus working as a recruitment consultant, helping candidates just to find job, how to attend interview.
Correct.
And I because I also work with my client who are hiring.
Yes.
So I have a little bit insight, and after so many years, I also manage people. I work with my client and as a business coach right now. So I'd like to share with you some of the idea. When a company hiring, when the hiring manager is interviewed, and when you attend the interview, what should you do and what you should not do?
Yeah, because Coach is speaking from, I would say, intimate knowledge, since you're involved in all of the hiring. As for me, I've attended multiple interviews.
I also attended many interviews when I was working.
So we have experience being interviewed as well.
Yeah.
And on another spectrum, I was also leading like various departments, and the HR had this practice of since they are hiring for my department, I also have to interview them to see that whether they would fit into what I want in terms of employees. So basically, we're sharing with you our own experiences being interviewed, and also experiences as an interviewer. And of course, Coach will share one step further, which is basically what our bosses want for.
What our bosses, especially if you are working for especially when you get interviewed directly from the business owner.
Yes, this is basically what's happening also.
It's a different thing when you get interviewed from a manager
different
who is also a employee.
Yep.
Or you get interviewed directly from a
I agree. It's different.
That expectation is slightly different. So what we're going to share with you here today.
It's different. So first one, our first topic, what is the A plus, or what are the A plus criteria that an employer is usually looking for?
Alright, so for example, if I today I want to hire people, I want to hire, for example, I want to hire a customer service. Alright, so what do the company is looking for?
Correct.
Alright, simple thing, I think rule of thumb, company want to get someone who can come in confidently,
Yes.
get the job done.
First impression, confidently.
Confidently get the job done, because you don't want to walk into an interview look like you are blur blur. That one bump. Straight away you can bye dabao.
Yeah, not a good start. Not a good start.
Alright. So number one thing is I will definitely look for someone who is confident.
Correct.
Who appeal they can get the job done.
Correct.
And you do show that the employee that you have the skill and personality.
That's basically what coach is sharing. Also, you must bear in mind that yes, you would think that can they know that from an interview? Yes, they can.
Yeah,
it's quite immediate. Once you walk in, you start talking to them. The assessment actually starts.
Yeah. Before even you open your mouth, people can tell whether you are confident or not.
Yeah.
Because two things will give away.
Okay.
Number one, your eye contact.
True.
Alright. If you walk into the room that you don't have eye contact with the interviewer, or you're so shy looking on the floor, typically it doesn't show that you are confident.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, your body language.
True.
Right? You walk in, then gone.
Yeah. You haven't started already lose.
You already lose. Because the first impression is really important.
Correct. So that's why coach mentioned even before you speak, the assessment has begun.
Yeah. Right? And during the interview, I will always suggest to the interviewee, always be yourself.
True.
Don't pretend.
Yeah, don't pretend to be someone you're not, because as the interview progresses, you're gonna misanswer certain things, or it's not going to align with what you originally presented yourself as. Yeah.
And don't over bluff.
Exactly.
Don't go ahead and I can do this, I can do that.
Exactly.
This is very bad.
And yes, they will know also.
People can tell when you like over exaggerate.
Correct. So it's like also like things like for me is like which they can also assess immediately is like communication skills.
Yeah.
Which is also tied to interpersonal skills. The two things which are different is that communication skill is how you talk to people. In terms of how you listen and how you relay information back to people.
Yes.
So by talking to you, they will know whether you are a good listener and whether you are able to ask questions or answer things based on the information provided by them.
Yeah.
Interpersonal skills is more like having to do with people skills. So like coach says also, if you when you talk to people, you don't really want to look at people, that's not very good interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills is how you make people feel like, this guy is very engaging, I enjoy talking to him and I just feel like I want to ask him more questions.
Yeah.
Or maybe
you have a very casual dialogue.
Exactly. So these are like the two skills that they can actually test immediately when they start talking to you as well. And I've discovered that for those that I got employed and also those that I hired also, these two actually score very high. Interpersonal and also communication skills.
I think being confident, being friendly,
correct,
and polite, all this kind of thing is really important, because in most cases, especially you are fresh graduate or you are young, you have a bit less experience, the skill and the working knowledge can be learned.
Yes, true.
But personality is something that either you have or you don't have.
Yep. And if you don't have, you can improve on that, but it takes practice.
Yep.
And you really have to put in an effort lah. You have to interact with people more. You have to talk to people more.
Yeah.
And you have to be aware of what are the things that you're doing wrong that people feel, I don't really like talking to him.
Yeah. And one very important, and you attend an interview, never be late. Never late. You late, bye bye.
Yes. It's good to be early.
Yeah,
yeah, sometimes even I've heard my friends who were late for an interview, right? what they discovered was that the interview was shorter than expected. Not a good sign.
And very importantly is you also do homework about the company and the position that you are applying.
Yes.
Don't go there and ask what your company do or what I apply. I don't know what I apply.
Yes. That one is also automatically, your interview will become shorter.
Yeah,
So that one is actually interesting. It leads to the next question. Alright, this is also a very, I would say, controversial question, which is the self-introduction part. So the next one will be how to do a wow self-introduction for a good start. A lot of the people that have went for interview, they always say that, they always ask can you tell us a bit about yourself? It's all in the resume already, ma. But I just want to stress one thing. This is still a very popular question.
This is, you see why the interviewer will ask this question. I can tell you out of my experience attending many interviews and interview many people, because when you walk into a room, especially when you walk into a room and meeting up a stranger,
correct,
and typically I also don't know what to talk to you also.
Exactly.
So I will throw the ball to the interviewee just by asking you, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Correct. So
just to start the conversation.
Correct.
Because the interviewer may not have or may not know exactly what to ask you.
Yeah, they'll be like, how do I start? So I like this point. Coach's point is kind of like, it's a way for the interviewer to warm up as well.
Yeah.
Number two, actually, I've discovered it is also a way to test how you talk to people, and it's a way to test your marketing skills, because basically you're marketing yourself. So, and also there's another thought to this. I've asked many, like you say, it's different when you're talking to the interviewer who's an employee or an interviewer who's the tau care himself. If it's the tau care, I would say not most of the time, all the time they will not have time to read your resume.
Yeah.
They are the tau care, they won't read. So they
will talk resume later. But just for your information, tell us about yourself. Yourself is a common starting question.
Yes, they rely on you. Okay, especially the tau care, rely on you to tell him or her more about yourself.
Yeah.
So actually, what should you say, or what are the things important during the self-introduction?
Okay, my suggestion is like this. Okay, number one, example that you are interviewing, applying for a sales position. Example is a salesperson now. So I would start my conversation like this. My name is Lek Hong. I understand that you have a sales position opening.
Yeah.
Alright. And from what I understand from the job posting that I read from whatever job portal, I understand that you want someone to take care of the sale of product ABC. Alright. And also working with the client XYZ.
You see, by saying that, this is the first thing. By saying that, the bosses will be like, he's very clear about what we want.
Alright. And why the company want to hire a salesperson? Very simple. Because the company have a problem need to be solved. Because why I want to hire a salesperson? Meaning that I don't have someone to do sales, ma?
Exactly.
I have the problem. No one doing sales.
Correct.
Or I don't have enough manpower to do sales.
Yes, I want more sales. That's the problem.
Yeah, I want to hire someone to help the company do sales.
Exactly.
So when you introduce, number one, you acknowledge the company have that problem.
Yes. You remind them that I know you have a problem.
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
That's why, and you want to position yourself as the solution to that problem.
You see, actually, this goes back to Coach's previous tips that he shared about marketing messages. Actually, self-introduction in a way is a marketing message.
Yes.
So I would like to thank also Sumiko. Okay, Sumiko is with us. She commented that it's a way to test marketing and communication skills. Exactly. Hi, Sumiko. So yeah, it's like I like that. A simple marketing message.
Yeah.
Self-introduction is a marketing message.
And you see, when you start your introduction in such a way, it is a very powerful hit to the interviewer.
Correct.
Rather than you say, my name is Lek Hong, I stay in Penang, I graduate from this school, I have 2 year working experience, I have a younger sister, right? Whatever you introduce, what I have said just now, got nothing to do with the position I'm applying.
Exactly.
So, but when you share that you have a sales position, I am the salesperson that you're looking for because I have worked as a salesperson for my previous company,
correct,
and this is what I do.
And which is actually the solution.
Yes.
This is what I do is basically my solution that I can bring to you.
And I also providing you the proof. Alright, the proof that I can solve your problem because I work in XYZ company
correct,
before. I take care of this kind of customer. Correct. I have similar industry experience. Correct. I can also sell similar product that your company is selling.
Exactly. So you see, that's not bragging because you're stating facts. Facts that later on, if any questions come with regards to your previous experience or skills, you can answer comfortably.
Yes.
And the trick is this: the way Coach introduced himself. This is the trick. If you're able to make your interviewer become curious and they start to look into your resume, you've achieved some sort of success.
Yes, and people will start seriously listen to you. Oh, now you are providing me with a solution.
Correct.
And the interview may ask you, okay, if I want to penetrate this kind of customer, what should I do?
The discussion has gone differently already.
You see, and in a way, you have control over the conversation. If you don't introduce yourself in such a way, it will end up like the interviewer asks you one question, you answer like that low, it's like that low, I think like that low.
I can show you a sign that oh, by the way, Sumiko says that her students are watching too. Yeah, thank you so much.
Sumiko is a KDU lecturer.
Steady. So you see how Coach shared that I've done that before also, and this is some of the reactions I've gotten from interviewers. They start to flip, especially the talkers, they'll start flipping through your resume. In other words, they are already interested in you just because of how you introduce yourself. But again, it's also part of the marketing message that Coach always advocates, which is you-centric, not me-centric.
Yeah.
So by stating that I know what you are facing, what you may need, how I can help you with my skill set.
Yeah, and experience that I have, solve your problem.
Yes. And then they become interested in you. And they will even ask, when they start asking questions, when they start giving you scenarios, which you know is...
it's a good sign. It's a good sign.
Yeah.
And especially when your interviewer start to ask specific question.
Exactly.
Then you know you are a good sign, you got high chance. And I can guarantee you how many you know your competitor who are going to the same interview, how many people know this?
Correct. so these are for those who've already had like a previous job experience, but to share a bit for those who are like maybe just fresh graduated and all that, mainly keep calm, introduce yourself. Yes, you can talk about your studies, like how much you scored or from which stream you're from. But more importantly also
make it relevant. Make it relevant to the position that you're applying.
Because the thing is this, is the same thing also. Even though you're a fresh grad, it's still good that you do a bit of homework about the company that you're going to interview for.
Yeah, it's very important. Don't go there blah blah.
And like, yes, I'm fresh, but no. You know that they're hiring for, let's say, a marketing executive. You studied marketing. And then you can tell people that I understand you're looking, I'm here today because I understand that you're looking for a marketing executive, marketing position. Okay, I'm from this, and what I believe that what I have learned I can apply to this, and of course because I'm a fresh grad, I am willing to work closely together with you, share fresh ideas, and also learn the industry, and they would like that, you know, you have fresh ideas for them, okay, which is relevant to what they need, and also they like your attitude that you are willing to know or really aware that okay, you're new, but you know that you can
at least
learn.
you take the effort to go the extra mile.
Yes. So for fresh grads, it's not to say that I have no experience at all. So
but if you go there, I you also die.
Yeah,
you also die. Straight die. You can 打包. If I interview you you won't last more than 5 minutes. You can 打包. Bye bye. I see you next time.
So for
next. You can go out already.
So like for fresh grads, the thing I can tell you is that majority of the interviewers, they know you're fresh grad, and the fact that they call you up for an interview is because they are also opening up the positions for fresh grads as well. So you should feel like grateful and also happy that you get the opportunity. So make full use of the opportunity. Do homework, and then introduce yourself in a way that it's relevant to what they are looking for.
Yes.
How you can contribute.
All right.
So that would be a great self-introduction. Okay.
All right.
So from self-introduction, we now take a step further before self-introduction, which is the resume.
How do you do a good resume?
Correct. So that seems to be the question also. Yes, sometimes the taukeas don't have time to read your resume. But remember, I told you, when they start getting excited about you, after you have left the room, they will start looking through your resume.
So my simple rule of thumb when you do resume is keep it clean and concise.
I like that.
Don't bombard everything in.
True.
And I will also suggest limit to 2 pages. Simple.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, if I am tauke lah, if I am as Nick has said, I may not have a lot of time just to go through. So I will not want to read a thesis. You give me a stack of thesis. You see, sometimes when people, especially fresh graduate, they come and interview, they will photostat 1 stack of their certificate.
Yeah.
Whatever certificate lah, you go to you go to fire camp, also you get a certificate. You was a scout, you attend this program, that program. You have 1 stack of certificate. Do you think people read your 1 stack certificate? No. You don't need to. You just have to be concise.
Yeah.
What is the most important thing that people consider when hiring you? Number 1, must be there one, is your contact.
Correct.
If I want to hire you, I cannot contact you, then bye-bye.
That is you'll be surprised. People say, hey, contact should know man. No. You'll be surprised. We have actually received resumes where
don't have phone number,
or even the name is like just 1 word, meaning it's not even the full name.
Or if you don't write as per IC.
Exactly. So we are like, okay, even the first step, we can't even find out who they are or how we're going to contact them. And some even, I think maybe they're too humble. They leave their contacts right towards the end of the resume.
Contact have to be upfront.
Yes, it's okay. Don't be humble with that.
And I will also suggest put a nice photo.
Yes, updated passport size photo.
Put a nice photo. I mean, in today's technology, you don't have to put a passport photo lah. You can crop your whatever photo, but it should be decent and nice. Not the photo that you go clubbing. It's a different thing,
Unless you're applying for club DJ or something.
Right, that's different objective lah. Right, and put your contact, whatever relevant information like your past working experience, like your skill set that you have, and make it simple.
Correct. Skill sets also, some have suggested that you can also put the skill set, like elaborate on the skill set, like where you obtain the skills. So let's say if you have previous experience, so you can tie these skill sets to your previous work experience. Say for example, I had a friend who's gotten a new job, as an e-commerce executive, and he actually learned this new skill set from his previous job.
Yeah.
So he actually elaborated like how he got this skill set.
Yeah.
So
where he learned from.
Yeah. So it actually adds weights to what you can do for people lah.
Yeah.
And then coach said 1 word, concise. This answers the questions. A lot of young grads ask me, do I have to like write a whole essay? Like coach said, no thesis. Point form, yes.
Point form good
you
enough.
can actually complete your resume, description of your previous experiences, etc. in point form.
Yes, it's point form. Because during the interview, if people are interested in you, I will ask you to elaborate.
Yes.
Right, and you written here that you have achieved, let's say you have achieved, exceeded your sales target in your previous company. Tell me more how you do.
So that's why it goes back to the initial point. If you want to brag about it, you better be ready to answer if people ask you about that particular question.
And you need to be honest.
Correct.
Be honest, use simple language, use simple words, and very important in your resume, proofread many times before you send.
No rush on. No rush on.
Don't. I mean, at least you should not have the grammar mistake or the spelling mistake that it look very.
In fact, my advice is to find friends to help. If you know that your friend is good in English, they're good in proofreading, invite them out for coffee. Ask them to help you look through.
Or this day you can use a software called Grammarly.
Yes.
Install Grammarly, it's free, and just at least it will help on your spellings.
Yep, and on the tip for resumes, this is one tip I always tell people who are currently employed, right? Because I personally make this, I would call it a mistake lah, which is always remember to update your resumes from time to time.
Yes, it should be updated. You should not submit a resume back in 2012.
Correct. You do it periodically so that you don't rush. Because a lot of times we get too comfortable in one job, we totally forget about our resume, thinking that we won't be looking for another job anymore. That was my personal experience.
All right.
Then suddenly when I was
I
was like, ooh, I like to apply for this position. Then when I opened up my old resume, it was like, oh no, it's like 3-4 years outdated already. Then you would have a problem of thinking back of what you've achieved so far. So
but it's okay lah. Since it's not too long, then you just have to update what is your achievement.
Correct. So alright, we have some comments from Shokshen. 我建议应征者 Okay, so basically when you are facing the interviewer, if you can answer the questions, always try your best to answer. But if you really do not know the answer to the question, this one is applicable to fresh grads. It's okay. Don't force yourself to simply give out an answer. So so sometimes even like you don't know the answer,
you just be honest lah. But I will suggest, even though you don't know the answer, but at least you try that. You can say something like, I'm not very sure about it.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, it's like that.
Correct. Or sometimes it's like, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like that.
Because most of the questions I realize interviewers would ask is more on wanting to get your ideas or your perspectives of certain issues or problems.
Or interviewer who want to see, do you have the initiative to try something that you're not comfortable with?
Correct.
I want to test. Would you go the extra mile?
Correct.
Or you just straight, I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes it's more like the question is like a open-ended question. Like let's say I have this situation, how would you solve it? You know, they would also want to test out your problem-solving skills. So when they ask that, they won't tell you, but in their hearts, most of the interviewers will be, there's no wrong or right answer. I simply just want to see how you tackle this question.
Yes. And sometimes they don't really need to have the right answer.
Correct. It's okay.
It's okay. It's how do you try to solve that problem?
Solve that problem, or like are you creative in thinking of a solutions?
Or you give up too soon, too fast?
Yeah. So sometimes they would think that, okay, this answer, I would not have expected them to answer this question like this, but that question is a valid point. There's no wrong or right. So there you go. They would think that, okay, this guy has some fresh ideas. Because let me tell you, a lot of new age interviewers, right, they are now more and more open-minded to new ideas.
True. And following by what not to say during interview.
True. So
what are your suggestions? What?
For me, like Coach mentioned, the number one thing not to say during an interview too much is I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the scariest 3 words to an interviewer.
The thing is like, you don't know everything, you don't know, then why should I hire you? I also don't know why should I hire you.
Correct.
Then you can bye-bye 打包 already.
And of course, one thing not to say or talk about is related to last week. We talked about company culture and value, right? So not necessarily all companies have good culture.
That's true.
But the one thing you don't want to do during an interview is to talk bad.
True. Never say negative thing about your previous company or your previous bosses.
No matter how bad it is.
No matter how much you hate them. Don't always say positive. Say positive.
Sometimes they will try to urge you on, like, hey, we know lah, your company like this, like that. Okay, it's a test. You just have to remain.
You have to you have to behave professionally.
Yeah, because it's a test. Because basically they will think that, okay, if they come over here, they're going to talk bad about our company. So you don't talk about negative things. And then of course the question would come during those type of moments would be, why are you looking for a new job?
So how do you answer that?
So where am I looking for a new job? Because usually or sometimes they will expect you to say something bad about, I'm leaving because the company didn't respect me, things like that. But basically it's like honest answers are like, I'm looking for a new challenge. Okay, like I actually jumped from a managerial position to an executive leasing position. So during the interview, I got them really interested. But the funny thing is, that guy or that manager started to look into all the other things that I've done previously, and then he actually zoomed in to ask more, even though that was not the position I was asking for.
Okay.
So, in other words, you got them excited about you. All right. But basically, they would ask, this question would come. Then why, after working for so long or working for X years in that company, would you decide to come for this kind of an interview? So usually you would want to tell people, like for me, it was that I really wanted to maybe learn something new, okay, in the retail industry, okay, and I feel that I'm still at an age where I can explore more.
Okay.
And then this will actually lead them into other questions as well.
You need answer very professionally. All right, very all-rounded.
Yeah, but not talking bad about
people.
Yeah.
All right. And another thing that common question people would ask is, share with me what is your strength. Then you say what is your strength?
Yes.
My strength is like that. And following question is, share with me what is your weakness. Common question, right?
I agree, because my first interview, right, the strength part I was so confident.
Yeah.
The weakness part I actually So this is a special important tip for especially those fresh grads. They will ask this kind of question.
They will ask you, and all you need to do is just to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't answer, I have no weakness. How come you think you are perfect? Where got people no weakness one? You just have to be honest.
Straight out honest. And if you can go one step further, all right, I will share with you an important tip towards the end.
How to turn negative to positive.
Yeah, but more importantly is that, like Coach said, you share very honestly what is your weakness, and then yes, you gotta have a positive from the negative. You can tell them what you are actually doing to counter that weakness.
Yes, and you turn that positive to the negative to something positive. Yes, true.
So actually the tip that I wanted to share also is that you see all these questions and all these tips that Coach is sharing with you is that when you have time, other than upgrading or preparing your resume, you actually prepare for an interview by practicing.
Yeah.
You always practice. So you will put yourself in the position to think, what are the questions that they would ask me?
Common question. And all these questions, in fact, you can now go to Google and survey.
Correct. So you see, the one of the question is, what are your weaknesses? So imagine this, you are now waiting for that question to be asked. So when they ask you, you've already practiced.
Yeah, you're prepared.
Yes.
You're prepared.
Then you are able to confidently tell people about your weakness and then tell them what you're doing to counter that weakness.
Yeah, that's really, really important. All right. And what else? Okay, another point is you don't want to be rude and don't say something like everything is on my resume, you go and read.
Yeah.
They're very lazy, you say something
that
like
is on my resume thing. So like what we said from the beginning also, a lot of the bosses or those from top management who will be or who could be your interviewer, they really do not have time to go through your resume.
And during your interview, make sure you off your phone. Don't like, hello, interview, hello.
Yes.
That also.
If you really got too nervous, you forgot to switch off your phone to silent mode or something like that, you just say, so sorry about that, switch it off, and then that's it. You continue on with your
it's
interview.
Really important.
Yep.
Okay, let's come to the last part, the most exciting part.
Okay.
Talk about money and salary.
Yes.
This is a common question that when you apply for a job,
correct,
and you will ask that what is your expected salary.
Yes, how to negotiate the best salary package. I'll be honest, in my first few jobs, I was really never good at that.
I wasn't also.
Okay.
I wasn't also. That's why you get pressed.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, the simple thing here is as an interviewee, as an employee, we always want to get the best package as possible.
Correct.
Fair now, I want more money. And from the employer point of view, it depends on what kind of company and the culture practice.
Sure.
Some company are very generous.
Yes.
They pay you fairly.
Yep.
No complaints. But some company are really stingy
Yeah.
Chinaman company, most of them
That's the truth
Alright. So one side want to press you and you want to leave.
Correct.
Alright. So that is where a negotiation come in.
Yeah.
Alright.
Remember, it's a negotiation and
it's a negotiation.
Not demand.
Right? But number one thing is when you apply for that position, at least do some homework and you want to know what's your value.
Yes, research is important.
Alright? You want to know that on average, what is the market average for the position like yours.
Correct.
Alright? And of course, when you have more years of experience, meaning that you can solve the problem faster, better for the company, and by doing so, you are in fact helping the company to save money.
Correct.
And therefore, I can ask the company, if since I help you save 10,000 every month, can I ask another addition 2,000 to pay to me?
Exactly.
All right. So you want to know what is your value.
Correct.
And don't go there by expecting, oh, right, I have a degree.
Yeah.
And a degree graduate must at least get 3K.
Yeah. So I want 3K.
I want 3K. Yeah. But when I will ask you how you define you worth 3K.
Actually, that's the thing also. You would be lucky if the interviewer asks you, why should we pay you 3K? If they keep quiet, it would be even worse.
Bye-bye.
So correct, like what Coach just now mentioned about doing a bit of homework, you can actually find out about the average salary rate. If you go into websites like jobstreets.com and all that, you search that particular type of position, and then if you narrow it down, okay, in Penang, okay, basically this is what they're paying. And please remember to look at the years of experience that they're looking for. Yes. So it's usually different gauge. Okay. Then of course, you already can see most of the time when people post a job position, they will tell you the salary range is from where to where.
Because normally, majority company a more structured company, they will have the salary scheme.
Correct.
Right, like this position, junior position, I pay from how much to how much.
Correct.
Right, slightly senior position, how much to how much. And most companies do have a range like that.
Yes.
Alright. So you are negotiating within that range.
Which brings me to the point is that you already knew about the range that they have. So you gotta have your expectation that this is going to be the lowest, this is going to be the highest.
Yes.
Are you ready to accept that range? Before you go to an interview.
Correct.
Because if you really go to because if you applied for that position and then you ask for a salary which is beyond what was stated over there, I can tell you they may not even call you up for the interview.
No, it's very simple. It is totally a mismatch.
Correct. Straightforward mismatch.
It's a mismatch.
Yeah.
Right? You have a different expectation. The employer have a different expectation.
Correct.
Right? It's totally a mismatch. It is not talking on the same level.
Correct.
So either you have applied for a wrong company or a wrong position.
Correct.
Or you think you are too good to
be there.
Yeah.
So, but let's say it is within that range. Let's say it's they're gonna pay 4,000 to 5,000. You of course wrote there that you want 5,000, and then after talking to you, they felt that for your position we are willing to go 4,000. That is when the negotiation
that's
starts.
where it comes in.
So maybe you want to meet somewhere in the middle. But my suggestion also is to not just tell them what you want, but listen to them as well. Because I can tell you, sometimes in remuneration packages, right, it's not just purely about money. They have other incentives or other benefits involved. So they may not be able to pay you your, let's say the highest is 5,000. They say they can only pay you 4,000 for the start. But you listen to them. Maybe there's more to this 4,000.
Yes, because what they offer you definitely is a basic salary. All right. Some position that the company also pay you allowance.
Correct.
Like transport allowance, phone allowance. Or
correct.
Some companies so generous that they pay you meal allowance.
Exactly. So you listen first. Maybe
you have to listen.
Maybe they will just say that 4,000. And then
plus 200 ringgit allowance or whatever thing.
Phone is like we pay for your phone bill, maybe. You see,
petrol.
So when
company pay petrol, yes.
Correct. So when all that, when you become a willing listener, you may find out in the end,
not too bad also. Not too bad also.
In fact, I'm saving more money.
Yep.
I'm earning maybe this 4,000 in my own personal life. I'm gonna end up with 4,000. You know, if they provide everything, and they may have incentives like bonus,
OT.
Exactly.
All right. So the idea is, instead of looking for a monthly income,
correct,
you may want to look into a perspective for why don't you look at annual income.
Correct.
In 1 year, how much I'm getting?
Yeah, because
all in.
Because I can tell you also that there was one position I interviewed for. They could not pay me the salary that I wanted. But they did throw in a part where they said that other than allowance and all that, there will be a guaranteed bonus.
13-month bonus.
Yes.
I used to work for a company like that.
Exactly. So
they pay 13 months salary.
Correct. So that becomes an attraction as well. So at the end of the day, you listen to the whole package, then only you decide
whether you want and don't want. And if it's not fit, let's say you have a mismatch, all right, and don't be afraid to walk away.
Correct. Actually, I agree with that also, because I did walk away.
It really tak ngam, not suitable. Then you said thank you for your time. I don't think this is what I'm looking for. Appreciate.
And you can even maintain kind of like a good relationship where you're living. Like unfortunately, this is not what I'm looking for. Yes, because I also have my commitments and all that. But it's okay. I hope that we keep in touch. So for the future, and maybe things will be different then.
So you see, interview is all about both way. It's not like the company want to hire a person. The company is always on top. It's always a both way thing. So,
I agree.
All right. The company needs someone to help them do the work.
Correct.
You need to get an income to make your living.
Correct.
So it's always a matching thing.
Yes.
So mutual respect is really important.
Correct. What I always tell people is that, especially for those who are really have a phobia of going for interviews. So what I always advise them is that it's a two-way thing. As much as they are interviewing you, you are also interviewing them. Because there are certain things. There are certain things that you want to know about. That you can ask them. So actually, a lot of interviews end with, "Do you have any questions for us?" So if you ask relevant questions and all that, they would be happy as well. Because sometimes they
show that you are serious.
Yes, because a lot of some of the candidates, I would say a lot of the candidates would be, "Oh no, I don't have any questions." Then they'll be like, "This is another one of those. They just take whatever we have. They don't want to ask any questions."
Or they may have the impression, feeling that you are not going to stay very long.
Exactly. Like
you are just job hopping.
Until you get something better. All right. So like you can ask questions, interesting questions like, "I understand you have a few branches in Penang. I found out that then they will start talking to you. Oh yeah, actually, in fact, we're expanding." It becomes a very nice conversation about their company. Or like, "May I know also in the department that I'm applying for, how many people are now in that team?" Okay, and then you sometimes see the manager light up like, "Oh yeah, my team, I have 5. I'm looking for one more, and that's exactly, I'm looking for someone like you so that we can start our new project." You see, so sometimes your questions, if asked correctly, you can get the interviewer excited, and that's what you want. So correct. I mean, in terms of interviews, you don't have to be afraid. Okay. You have to be honest, okay? And of course, all the points shared, you can actually practice.
So if any one of you who are watching, if you have any question, you can just type in before we end our show. Anyone have any question? Just look at it first.
Yes. So correct what Sokshan said, that I did have those interviews before. I'm a degree holder.
And the first thing, don't ask stupid question like, "How much salary are you paying me?" Who you think you are?
You're just starting out. It's okay. Be humble. I mean, even though I know we say to be honest, right? But even though you feel that, okay, I'm gonna use this position as a starting point for me, I feel this is good for a starting point, but of course I'm aiming for something bigger in the future. Yes, aim. But then focus on this current position that you're applying for.
And if you apply for something, and you should be serious and focused to get the job done.
Correct. Because yes, I understand that you have a bright future ahead of you. You want to go further. That you don't want to be exec forever for your life. I understand that, which is good. But you need to remember, in order for you to achieve your dream of becoming, let's say, an entrepreneur or maybe a manager in the future, you have to start somewhere. So if this is going to be your first job or your second job, you better be focused on that. And not think too far away. So this episode I find is quite nice, because it doesn't apply only to the current workforce who are looking for new work, but also for those who are graduating, and then they may think that, oh, this is going to be tough.
And it also serves like, if you are hiring manager, if you are going to interview people soon, And I also suggest for interviewer, you need also to prepare lah. Ask a little bit intelligent questions from candidates.
Correct. Sometimes you can make interviews fun as well. I mean, it's up to you and your position.
Yeah.
Because back then, I hired internal auditors for my department, and we look for fresh grads as well. So how I test them is I give them scenarios, and because writing is important, I actually let them write. So okay, I'm gonna give you half an hour. You write out a report or an analysis on what you think this means to you. Okay, I'm gonna leave the room. I left, and then they was like, I think you know. And yeah, I mean, make friends with people during interviews. That's always good. You know, keep a relationship. Yeah.
Oh, so we will stop here. I hope that everybody learned something. Thank you for watching.
Please share it out.
Please share it out with your friends. You have a lot of, I think, Sumiko, you have a lot of students who are watching. Share they may not watch live. They can look at the replay later.
And final message from me. Some may be asking, what has this got to do with marketing? For me, it has a lot to do with marketing because you are basically marketing yourself. Okay, in a pool of candidates, you want to be that one who stands out.
And Sumiko have a question before we end.
Right. Any opportunities for relocating to a new branch and self-development? Cost of new normal. What do you think of virtual interview? Future trend. Interesting.
All right. I think any opportunity to relocate for future, but I think this is a good question to ask. This is you are interested to see that. Within the company, is there any other opportunity in the future?
Correct.
That you want to grow together with the company?
This is what we mentioned just now, which is interesting questions that you can ask the interviewer to get them excited. They will love questions like this, and they will love to answer you.
And virtual interview, I think this is perfectly okay lah.
I think this is happening at the moment. This is happening.
It's really convenient.
Phone interviews, we always hear about that. Zoom interviews, we are hearing more and more also. I had a friend even before the pandemic, I had a friend who wanted to apply for a job in Bangkok. So impossible, they want to fly.
Last time they used to fly people, but very expensive.
Now they're very happy that they have things like Zoom. So they actually scheduled an interview online.
But even though you're attending a Zoom interview, make sure you also make sure you look decent, comb your hair or whatever thing.
The basics are the same lah. You want
don't wear your pajamas.
You want to be professional even if it's like a virtual or remote kind of interview. And interesting, I mean, at least make sure the upper half of your body is nice. You want to wear sarong, go down there, no problem. Just one set up.
True.
But Sumiko, that's an interesting point. There will be, I foresee also there will be more and more such interviews, which is on the virtual platform. But coaches' note is also important, which is, if it's a remote interview, if it's a face-to-face interview, the basics are the same.
You have to be prepared. It's the medium are different.
Correct.
Alright, so I think we will stop here and see you next time. And we will come up with a new topic that excites you. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care.